If you want some FIFA 23 coins, please check out MMOXP.com. Their link is down in the description. They're fast, cheap and reliable, and if you use code Rema, you can get yourself a 5% discount. So what's going on, guys? My name's Ash and welcome back to a brand new video on the channel. Now in today's video, guys, I'm going to be showing you my meta 5122 custom tactics and player instructions. Now I'm well aware I wasn't the first person to discover this formation or anything like that, but the way I've adapted it to play to my liking, I find it to be incredible. Now as a Chelsea fan, I've always liked playing with a back five. Well, since we've had Thomas Tuchel as a manager and Conte, I've always enjoyed like this wing back style of play, so it's really fun for me to almost emulate Chelsea's play style in game. I know it's a little bit different, but that's not the point I'm making. I actually use these to go 7-0 in that new objective, first owner Fiesta, and we've got the 83 plus rated gold rare pack. So, you know, I'm settled on these custom tactics. I really enjoy using them, and I'm just going to show them to you guys now as well as talking through them. So let's go ahead and look at the custom tactics. So these are the custom tactics that I use. Now we're going to quickly talk through them and why I use them in this way, because you can't just copy someone's custom tactics. You have to understand why they're a certain way in order for them to work for you. You can't just copy them, because obviously you have to adapt the play style that these tactics are meant for. This is why people always suggest that you use your own custom tactics and experiment. But if you're struggling and you're looking for something to help you, well, here we go. So I go with the defensive style on balance. That's because I don't like my players pressing all the time. If they press all the time, then they get pulled out of position, and it's very easy for your opponent to just play the ball through you. Like if you're pressing when you've just lost the ball, for example, a quick couple of passes and you're completely undone. Similarly, if you're on constant pressure, your players get tired and they do an over the top through ball. So I like having it on balance because it gives you that balance between manual pressure and it's not a drop back, but your players stay compact. That's why I use balance. Now for the width, I like to keep this on 50 because it puts your players in that perfect width where they're not too narrow and they're not too wide. So it's difficult for your opponent to play those through balls down the wing, but similarly it's also difficult for them to play it through the middle. So you've got a nice coverage of the pitch when defending, and all your players keep a nice shape. Now the reason I like to have my depth on 66 is because it's something to do with the new accelerate mechanics on new gen, right? So a lot of my centre backs and defenders are lengthy. I'll quickly show you this now. So, in order for them to be lengthy, I'm sure you already know, but I'm just going to explain it for those that don't know. Right, so if your player is above 5'11", or 5'11" or above, and their strength minus their agility is 15 or greater, so in this case, we've got Rema, who's got 84 strength and 66 agility, that is a difference of, I believe, 18, yeah? 18, yeah, so he is a lengthy player because he's got a difference of 18 between his strength and agility, and he's also above 5'11". Now Gozens, I'm not too sure. Yeah, okay, so Gozens is the same, that's why I put an archetype on him. But anyway, the reason I have a high depth, sorry, I got a little sidetracked there. The reason I have a high depth is because lengthy players catch up over a longer distance. So you keep a nice high defensive line, so it's really easy to keep manual pressure on your opponent, even when they're trying to get out of the box. But with this depth and the lengthy defenders, when they do play those balls in behind, your players are that high up that when they run back to chase the player, because of that lengthy pace archetype, they can actually catch the player no matter how fast they are and tackle them. So it is really effective to have a high depth. Obviously you don't want it too high because otherwise, yeah, you're screwed. But I like to have it at about 65, 66, because just look at where they are on the pitch. I quite like that. Now for build-up play, I like to have this on balance because some people, like for example the video I saw, they have this on long ball. Now if we take a look at long ball real quick, your players push up extremely far. So your defenders, look, they stay there, and all of your attackers go flying forward. Now, this creates a big gap between your defense and your attack. So every time you win the ball, you're going to have to absolutely hoof it to get it up to your players, or you're going to have to ping a very powerful pass, which are usually inaccurate in FIFA 23. So long ball can be very easy and predictable if you're a good player. So if you play against long ball and you're a decent player, you'll find it pretty easy most of the time. So I keep this on balance because you can just see they make these nice little small movements to keep the ball going, and that's very important in FIFA 23 because it's those short, fast passes between your players that will really help you break down the defense, because build-up is extremely important in FIFA 23. Now for chance creation though, I like to have it on direct passing, and the reason for this is direct passing is by far the best. Now if you look at the movement from the players on direct passing when you're in the final third, the attacking intelligence from your players is 10 times better than anything else. If you look at balanced, they don't really move about that much. Look at the two strikers, they just stay very central, they don't really move much, they don't really try and make things happen. If you go to possession, they're always trying to find passing options to keep the ball, which is great, but it's very difficult to create chances. Forward runs, your players go far too forward, they can get caught out, and it's easy to counter, and it doesn't always work. But with direct passing, just look at the movements that all the players make. There's always something going on. That's why I like to use it. Now for attacking width, I like to bump this up to 55 width, and that's because the principle in football, the main principle in football, is you like to defend slightly narrower and attack slightly wider. That's just basic football knowledge, and I like to have this on 55 width because it puts your fullbacks, or wingbacks I should say, in a really nice position when going forward, where they can cause a threat. It's almost like you've got 4 attackers at some point, so it is really nice, and all of your other players keep a nice attacking width. Now for players in box, I like to have this on 6. This is all down to personal preference, but the reason I don't have it all the way up is because look how many players get into the box. If you lose the ball there, if your opponent deflects it or clears it out, you're screwed. But when you have it on about 6, there's always that player on the edge of the box waiting for the bounce back if there is one, so it helps you keep up the pressure and stop you getting countered as much. Now corners, again this is all personal preference, corners and free kicks. I just like to have this on 2 because if you commit too many players in set pieces, it's also very easy to get countered. You can see from corners there's always like a few players back when you have it on 2, and the same with free kicks, so it's harder for you to get countered. So yeah, these are my custom tactics. Let's quickly go ahead and look at the team. This is what I use. It is important that you use a good team with this formation, and by good team I don't mean the most insane players, I mean players that work. So my 3 centre backs are lengthy centre backs, right? They will always beat the attacker over a long distance. They're very powerful defenders, and they find it very easy to break up the play and push people off the ball and keep up the pressure. I think it's very important that my centre backs play like that in this formation. Now if you look at my wing backs, Gozens, Navas, very good attacking ability as well as defensive ability. Now Navas, even though he's got terrible physical, in that wing-back position, it's not that important because he has the pace to make up for it. And going forward, he also has that explosive pace to help you on the attack. Gozens is a lot more well-rounded. He's got very good passing, decent pace, a lengthy run style, which again, especially in that wing-back position, is broken. It is so good. And yeah, you want these like nice balanced players that can both defend and attack in these positions. Now with your centre mids and CDM, look, I was lucky enough to pack Valverde, Sanchez and Llorente. I know it's pretty crazy, but you like to have those players that can do it all in midfield because they have to defend and they have to attack because you've only got 2 attackers, right? Valverde, Llorente and Sanchez are all very good at intercepting the ball. They're all very good at running with the ball. They're all decent at passing, dribbling and shooting. You know, you just want that nice balance. You could probably get away with a more defensive CDM. I probably shouldn't be using Llorente there, but I'm just using him because he's untradeable. But you could get away with using like a Kessie there, like a bigger player that's not as good on the ball, just to break up the play. But the other 2 centre mids, it's important that they are good on the ball, good at getting the ball back, and very good at running up and down. The strikers are down to personal preference, but I use Depay because again I've made him lengthy and he's very good. I really like using him. And Leao, even though he's not lengthy, he's still a great finisher of the ball and he's still got really good pace. That's why I use them. Now player instructions, sorry I forgot to show these real quick. I don't really use much, but there are a few settings that I find important. So Leao and Depay, I just like to leave them on balance, and it's because I have this weird theory in FIFA that too many settings actually limit what your players do. So for example, if I put Jesus on stay central, that's limiting his ability with direct passing. He's not making all the movements that he can make. Although he's staying central, which is what some people want, he's not making all those movements that he could make if you just left him on balance, because he won't drift wide. If there's a chance to drift wide, he won't make those movements. So I like leaving my attackers alone, especially on basic defensive support, because your strikers are actually very good at defending. Because defenders are very slow on the ball, you can often catch them with your striker and win the ball back quickly. So I like having them on basic defensive support. Now both my centre mids, I do not touch them. I leave them on cover wing, because basically when your wingbacks, I keep saying that, attack forward, they push forward. Imagine Navas has gone up next to Depay on this screen. If you use cover wing, Sanchez will always cover the position that Navas has just left, right? So it stops your team being caught too narrow. It stops those balls being played down the wing so much, and it gives you more defensive stability. Because if you just leave them on stay central, you'll see, just ignore the wing backs for a second, it's like a 3-3-2, but your fullbacks would be all the way out of position, and it's very easy for your opponent to break you down. Alright, so having them on cover wing, when your fullbacks go forward, your centre mids can help cover that space, and it's very effective. Now for my CDM, I just leave them on stay back while attacking and cover centre, because I like having them just sitting in the centre of that defensive line, just giving that extra bit of support in front of the defensive line to break up the play. And now for the wing backs, I like to have them on join the attack, and this is because they push up very high, and it basically complements the cover wing setting on the centre mids. So having them on join the attack means they create a lot of attacking runs, and I mean a lot of attacking runs, to help you get that extra width on the attack and help you supply your strikers a little bit more. And it really does help you build up the play and score some crazy passing goals. In my next video, I'm actually going to show you some of my best goals using this formation. And I think some of you will be excited for that, because honestly some of the goals are really nice. But yeah, these are the settings that I use, guys. If you have enjoyed them or found them useful, I would appreciate if you could drop it a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel if you are new, so you never miss out on any videos like this one, and don't forget to turn on notifications so you are notified when a video is posted. Now again, I know this video is quite long, I know I waffle on a little bit, but I really like giving you guys the insight as to why I choose what I choose, because I think it really adds to your gameplay. If I just showed you those custom tactics and didn't explain them, it wouldn't have been a lot of use for you guys. But now you know what to do with them and how they work, I think you guys will be able to adapt to them a little bit better if you want to, of course. But yeah, that's everything, guys. I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day, and I'll catch you all later. Peace.